Hate it or love it, but you know we're gonna discuss it, right? And today we're discussing the Diet Coke addiction. I didn't know so many people. I don't want to say I didn't know, but I didn't know it was this much, this many people addicted to Diet Coke, man, to where there are stories and accounts of things that have happened or people have experienced and are going through and all kind of different things. And they're sharing their stories, bro. Let's talk about it.
Update on how I stopped being addicted to Diet Coke. So a few months ago, I posted a video about how I used to drink like 6 to 8 cans of Diet Coke a day. I had acid reflux, heartburn. I couldn't eat things that I really loved to eat anymore because I would just feel really bad afterwards because there was constantly Diet Coke running through my veins. Disgusting. But I did make the switch to Crazy D's Cherry Cola, and honestly, it saved me. I haven't had Diet Coke in about 2 months. My bloating is gone. I can wear cute clothes again because I don't feel self-conscious. I can eat food that I really, really love. This little guy right here has been my replacement for 2 months, and I'll tell you, the difference is astounding. Even my mental health is better because Diet Coke does have caffeine in it, and caffeine is not good for anxious ladies like me. Stopping the caffeine was really beneficial. Now I can go out and feel normal and not jittery and shaky. You guys should try it out if you're experiencing Diet Coke addiction. If you have acid reflux because of any diet soda that you've been drinking, it's awful. We all know. But Cherry Cola is where it's at. Oh my God. Get yourself some Cherry Cola.
No judgment, but I was thinking she was gonna be like, yo, I made the switch to water. You know what I'm saying? I switched to this or that. She would jump from Diet Coke to Cherry Cola. You know what I mean? No judgment though, no judgment. You know, I'm just happy that she's not experiencing the symptoms that she was experiencing and everything like that. So, like, shout outs to her for that. But that kind of threw me off a little bit. I was taken aback.
Okay, my friends, I found out some information the other day that both changed my life and made it so much worse. So the other day, I really wanted a Diet Coke, and there's a McDonald's kind of close to where I live. So I was like, okay, I'll go and get a Diet Coke. But around like half a mile there, I was like, I really don't want to go that far. And there's a Circle K right there. So I was like, that's fine. A gas station, like foam cup, no big deal. So I got there and I was like, you know what? I'll be bad. I'm going to get the extra large. I'm thinking it's going to be like $2 or something. 85 cents. 85 cents for this guy. This guy, it's bigger than my head, and it's 85 cents. And I'm a Diet Coke girly. Like, I drink Diet Coke. But this is probably the most horrible thing that's ever happened to me, because now that I know this information, I've been going a lot. Like, I think I found this out like maybe 5 days ago. I've gone every day. I've gone every single day since I found this out. And like, I am so jittery all the time, which normally I am because I drink a lot of caffeine. And if you can't tell, like, I'm talking so fast, I literally am going insane. Like, look at,
Yo, that's not good. And I was sitting here to think of the entire time, like, everything else in the world is so expensive, but you found that for 85 cents. That's not good, bro. And they dropped the prices. Why is the stuff that's so bad for you always so affordable? It's always so accessible, easily accessible at that. Look at her jitters, though.
Could not keep my hands still if my life depended on it. Like, I would be a horrible surgeon. Anyway, this has both changed my life and made it so much worse. And if you have a Circle K near you, sorry that I gave you this information, but it's 85 cents for the extra large. Extra large. This is, again, going to be a problem, and I'm sorry that I gave you this information.
You know what that reminds me of? Y'all remember back in the day, if you live around an area that has time savers, we used to have time savers where I lived at, bro. So and you could go there during like, I don't know if it was the month of May. I can't remember or recall what month it actually was, but you could go there and get the 10-cent sodas, bro. Oh, whenever that month was, bro, we would go there so much for the 10-cent sodas that the machine would break, or the store owners had to be unplugging it saying the machine was broke or something like that. But it got out of control, man. And come to think of it, it's just like this, bro. That we know that wasn't good for us back then, but 10-cent sodas.
I have drunk 2 liters of Diet Coke every day since I was 17 for 10 years. And they say that stuff's not addictive. 2 liters. When I sweat Diet Coke. Aspartame. I used to replace one of my 3 key meals in the day with just 1 large bottle of Diet Coke. Strangely, it couldn't be Coke Zero. No, afraid not. Do studies even exist on the long-term impacts of Diet Coke for that amount of time? I am very worried. I did not care about myself. I care about myself now, and now I am terrified. I have drunk 2 liters of Diet Coke every...
Jeez, what do you say to a person like that? Because I'm scared if they stop drinking it, then that's when everything is going to pretty much fall. It's like at this point, the Diet Coke is like almost keeping them alive. Like, what do you say to a person that's 2 liters a day, every day since they were 17 years old? Imagine putting that money in like a high yield savings account. How much money they would have right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, 2 liters a day. When you go to the bathroom, you're literally peeing out Diet Coke. It's gotta be that color. It has to be dark. Not dark color. It just has to be dark, brown, blackish, the color of Diet Coke. Like 2 liters a day. That's crazy.
Get ready with me while I tell you about my Coke addiction. Diet Coke addiction. I feel like to paint you the correct picture, I really need to take it back to the first time I ever tried Diet Coke in my life. I don't actually remember the first time I ever had my first sip of Diet Coke. I do remember that I just loved it from like an early age, like middle school. I grew up in a house where my mom was a Diet Coke drinker. It was readily available all the time. Once I was at middle school age, I started, having a sip or so, experimenting, if you will, and I loved it. I absolutely freaking loved Diet Coke. It was a love at first sip. Maybe it's my mom's fault I went through this addiction. She was the one buying it. She was the one keeping it in the house. I guess mom's to blame. I started drinking Diet Coke consistently when I was in high school. My mom used to pack me a Diet Coke for lunch every single day. I remember a lot of my friends were like super jealous. I was just that girl, I grew up in the type of home where food wasn't really restricted. My friends will joke, my parents' pantry was like gold. Every single snack food, every single junk food was in there. If we wanted something, we had it, and it was no big deal. I feel like that's how it was with Diet Coke. Like, I would have one at school for lunch. Also have one when I got home from school. After a long day at school, a nice Diet Coke. As I say this, I can like hear that can popping. Divine. Maybe as I reflect on this, I was already like a teeny tiny bit addicted by high school. I'm blaming my mom. I obviously didn't think I had a problem or there was anything wrong with drinking 1 or 2 every day. No big deal, right? Then when I went to college, my school was actually a Coke school. So this meant I was drinking Diet Coke around the clock. Like, I was getting Diet Coke with breakfast every day, and with lunch, and with snacks, and with dinner. It's also the only drink that I would use to chase. Served so many purposes. Good in the morning, good at night. Perfect beverage. You cannot find a more perfect drink. I guarantee that. So by this point, I'm a freshman in college, and I'm probably drinking like 6+ Diet Cokes a day. Gross. Also delicious, so hard. I will also note this is the exact time where water consumption plummeted and Diet Coke consumption increased. A very direct correlation. It was the summer of my freshman year when I was at home. I want to say I was drinking like a case of Diet Coke a day. Not kidding. I would legitimately wake up in the night out of a dead sleep, need Diet Coke. Like 1, 2, 3 a.m., eyes would crack open. I would go down 2 flights of stairs, 2. My room on the 2nd floor to the basement to get an ice cold, fresh can of Diet Coke. I would just pop it, chug it, and go back to bed. It's true. Things took a really scary, violent turn when I transferred colleges to the University of Hartford, and they were a Pepsi school. The rage, the sadness, I had all the emotions. Fear not, because my mom would load me the F up with Diet Cokes, cases and cases every time I came home. She was an enabler, enabling this disgusting, incredible addiction. I want to say by my junior/senior year of college, I did not drink any water. Like I wasn't drinking any water. Diet Coke fueled me. The only thing I drank, the only thing I wanted. Do not know how my organs did not shrivel up. Addiction was quite strong until after I graduated. Sometime during the first year that I was out from college, I started to observe that this might just be a problem. You need to get clean and sober. This is no way to live. So I decided to make a change and I cut out Diet Coke cold turkey. Put myself in sober living, rehab, if you will. The first days were very, very bad. Cravings were next level. Like, it is all I thought about. Diet Coke, Diet Coke, Diet Coke. Physically started breaking down. The most intense migraines I had ever experienced. My skin started breaking out and it went wild. Acne, full blown cystic acne. I can't explain it. It makes no sense, but it's true. My sleep for the first week was insanely bad. I wanted to go to the basement, get that can of Coke, and just go right back to sleep. I actually went through with it to the point where I no longer crave Diet Coke. Actually, the thought of it made me sick and want to throw up. I did it. I was clean and sober. Stayed clean and sober for quite a while. In fact, I only relapsed when I was pregnant with Mila, mainly because when I went out to dinner, I wanted something other than water. A Diet Coke just sounded so good and familiar, and I had those beautiful, fond, delicious memories. So I would have a Diet Coke every now and again when I was out with my husband or out with friends, and it was no big deal. I was in recovery. I could have a Diet Coke every now and again. I had overcome the addiction. That was the old me. The new me, I could have Diet Coke casually and socially. No big deal. It has been about 3.5 years since my relapse. I do indulge in a Diet Coke at least once a day. That's my treat, my reward for getting through the day. Crack that can right around dinner time. The second it hits my taste buds, I feel a tingle come over my body.
What does she sound like? What does she sound like? Ladies, you can no longer talk to the guys about, hey, y'all need to slow down on those beers, and they tell you, man, it's something about when you get off and you get home and you get to the refrigerator, you crack that refrigerator open and that little coldness from the refrigerator hits you. You reach your hand in there and you grab that beer, whatever type of beer you drink. You know what I mean? Whatever is your drink of choice, and you crack that thing open and you drink it, and the coldness goes down and you feel it go down your body, and you exhale and you sit down and you relax from a hard day or whatever type of work you just put in. And they would always look at you. Yes, this is the same thing. I think everybody needs to take a moment and apologize to the comments that you've either made about people who are on drugs. This is no different. This is no different. Everything she said sounded like a person that was strung out on drugs, and she had to kick the habit, and she went cold turkey, and how everything, the withdrawals started happening and all of that type of stuff like that, bro. It's no different. So people who are being judgmental against people who are on drugs, what's the difference?
And for a second, everything's okay. The hardships of the day, it all just slips away. There's nothing like that first sip of a Diet Coke. So that is my story of how I overcame a Diet Coke addiction at a very young age. I'm now living in recovery. Love you guys.
I'm currently right this second off the sauce, but it's a real mixed bag. I was off of it for 12 years. I got back on. Now I'm off, but tomorrow I'll probably be back on. It's a real addiction. My dad always said, people who drink Diet Coke, it's because they're fat and they're thirsty. And I believe that.
So I have a Diet Coke addiction. I drink the decaf ones now because, currently right now it's almost 10 p.m. It's actually 9 p.m. Anyways, I also barely drink caffeine. Most of the time I drink decaf coffee because I will bounce off the walls and also have so much anxiety. Anyways, this started in the hospital. I don't know where it came from. I like woke up in the ICU and was like, I want a Diet Coke, and you have to pass like a swallow test if you've been intubated. And then they made me like eat pudding and something else. First of all, I hate pudding. I also hate Jell-O, and was like, no, I don't want to do that. And they were like, you have to do this to drink Diet Coke. It was worth it. Anyways, all that to say, while I was in the hospital, one night I was like having a tough night, and I was like, dude, I just really want a Diet Coke. And the nurse was like, no, we only have Sprite and ginger ale. And I was like, oh, that really sucks. And then I said something like, oh, that like probably makes it easier for you guys, right? Because like you only have to get 2 sodas. And this is just when you know they care about you. She had said like, no, it wouldn't make my job any harder and would make my life so much better if we just had like other sodas like Diet Coke, Dr. Pepper, whatever the people like up here. Because like we want you to sleep at night, but especially the acute floor that I was on, like a lot of people don't sleep at night. I never slept at night. It was really hard for me to sleep all night. And sometimes you just wake up at 1 a.m. and want something other than like ice chips and a popsicle. And so after that, I carried Diet Coke in my room and they would just bring me ice. But I just thought it was really sweet that she was like, no, I actually would just prefer to make my patients happy and like bring you something that could make you feel more comfortable and at home. So if you're in the hospital, keep the soda that you like in your room so you can drink it in the middle of the night. So,
are you noticing that everybody who drinks some type of Diet Coke or Diet Coke product, whatever, they talk really, really fast. Like really, really fast. And I couldn't see her hands really to check and see if she had the jitters, but I did pick up that she was talking fast, or at least fast for me. Maybe that's like normal speed for y'all.
So ever since I got sober, I have been obsessed with Diet Coke. And my friends keep saying, you need to stop drinking so much Diet Coke. It causes cancer. It's got fake sugar in it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys, I used to do Molly from strangers in nightclubs and drink myself into oblivion. I think the Diet Coke is fine.
Okay, so there's like a full-on crisis going on that no one's talking about, but I'm going to talk about it. People are addicted to Diet Coke, like a level of addiction that is worrisome, and no one cares because they're like, oh, there's no sugar in it, and there's no calories in it, and what's in it? Because heroin has no calories and no sugar. And
hey, Hannah, do you remember when you were funny? Yeah, I don't really either. I know that this piece was supposed to be satire, but the problem is that social media doesn't really understand satire, especially when it has to do with health, which is kind of irresponsible to make satirical content about anyway, but what's done is done. If you take a look at your comments, people aren't laughing. They actually believe what you're saying, even though it's supposed to be a joke. You're making them afraid to drink Diet Coke, when in reality, the amount that they would need to consume in order for it to be dangerous is astronomical. We're talking cases upon cases every single day for an extended period of time, which nobody's doing. Diet drinks are actually...
That's funny. Because we just heard somebody say that. I don't know if she was joking or not, but I can only take you at face value. I don't know you. And I've heard multiple people, even one of the girl that was doing her makeup, didn't she say she was drinking up to a case a day? Like, what do you mean people are not drinking? Like, no, man. People are drinking that amount.
Extremely helpful for people trying to lose weight. So by all means, drink your Diet Coke and stop listening to people like this.
I think Diet Coke has crack in it. Didn't Coke actually used to have like cocaine? A little bit of cocaine,
a
little bit of that yayo? Yeah, it did.
A little bit of that Snow White.
But okay, I've always been admittedly addicted to Diet Coke.
Holy shit! I thought you were about to absolutely put yourself in handcuffs and indict yourself on the internet.
What'd you think I was gonna say?
I have admittedly and openly been addicted to cocaine. I was about to say, oh my God, what are you saying to me right now? And I damn sure was letting you die on that hill alone. I would have been like, oh no, I didn't know. I did not know. Only him. Holy shit, my heart actually went skipped the beat.
I've been admittedly addicted to Diet Coke.
Yes.
For my whole life. Literally since I was like 10 years old. I can go through a 12-pack a day. Like, that's my cigarette.
But yet, that guy said, nobody's drinking like that. Are you kidding me? Yes, they are, man. Like, they're literally telling their stories on the internet. All you gotta do is just search it.
Diet Coke is cigarettes to me.
Okay.
Right?
It's better than a cig.
Exactly. I could be addicted to a lot worse.
You could.
My intrusive thoughts. I think Diet Coke has crack.
And I think that's the worst thing to say, is I could be addicted to a lot worse. It's literally like downplaying what you're dealing with right now to make yourself feel better. That's like the worst thing you can do to yourself. It's justifying your reason to continue doing it. That's not good.
So we're gonna have us a little Diet Coke break, and I had to take that hat off. My head was itching. Does that ever happen to y'all? Well, we're gonna have us a Diet Coke break. Oh, called it. Gotta add a little bit of that lime. This is so good. You know what, actually? I heard that you're supposed to add some lime. I'll do a little bit. And then we're gonna add a splash. It's called like a dirty Diet Coke. And we're gonna add a splash of this coconut cream creamer. If this ain't no good, I'm about to be madder than heck. I'm nervous. That is so good. So we might not have no swig in North Carolina, but you get you this concoction. We done started a thing. We done started a thing. Oh my God. That is so good. So
y'all are out. Wait, let me get this straight. Y'all have really literally started chasing Diet Cokes. Like, now it's a gateway to more? Like, y'all are chasing these things with coffee creamer and lime? Oh, this is worse than I thought. I didn't think it was this bad. But it's bad. Y'all out here chasing it like a mixed drink. Let me find out there's gonna be a barista made where you can have mixed Diet Coke drinks. They're like, what is that? Bartesian? What is it that you can buy? Let me find out y'all putting Diet Cokes in that, man. We're gonna have a problem. We need to have an intervention. Let's talk.
This is the hardest thing I'm ever gonna have to do in my life, so that's why I have to post this to hold myself accountable, because I can't fuck this up. So I have what some might call an addictive personality. I never thought I did. I thought it was the opposite. I thought I didn't have an addictive personality because when I was 14, like, I tried a cigarette and I didn't even inhale it, and I was like, I don't understand the hype. Like, how do people get addicted to this? Just to name a few of my addictions: weed, Diet Coke, energy drinks. I'm severely ADHD, and the medication I'm on for my ADHD is a non-stim one. So that's why caffeine kind of makes me feel normal. But, like, lately my chest has been hurting. Not funny. It's just how I cope. And I love how I'm drinking one right now, and I'm like, my chest has been hurting. But I'm having my last one today. This is my last one. I just don't want to waste it. I will be giving my boyfriend all of my weed pens. I don't have any weed. Just my weed pens. And I think I have, like, a bit of Diet Coke left. I'll get my dad to, like, dispose of it somehow. He'll be happy. And, like, I'm telling myself, like, I'm never not gonna have this again. It's just, like, I need to stop the addictive part. Like, I need to kick the addiction part and be able to, like, have this occasionally, and not, like, be scared that I'm gonna have a heart attack. You know what I mean? Starting today, and I'll give myself until May 29th. That'll be, like, my first deadline, but I'll try to go for more. But from now until May 29th, after this one, I'm done. I'm trying to be a good influence.